Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, we'll be predicting the full card of fights. Well, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC 313 Pereira versus Ankalaev. So yeah, full card of predictions. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, first fight we have on the card, late addition to the card. We got in the bantamweight division, we got Chris Guttierez versus John Castaneda. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Chris Guttierez to beat John Castaneda. And I feel like this is a fight that, you would think it would need to play one way for the other guy, for this guy to win and that guy to win. But I think this fight going to go to a split decision. Low confidence, I think it goes to like a split decision type fight. Castaneda's going to look to try to crowd, look to try to throw big shots, and look to try to, rough him up, try to wrestle him up. And Chris Guttierez is going to look to try to create distance or maintain distance and chew up his legs and be dynamic. Calf kicks, spinning back kicks, spinning wheel kicks, sticking with the jab and stuff. But I think it's going to be a fight where both of them are going to have their success, but it's going to come down to what the judges see. Like, it's going to be one of those fights. Like, the judges going to are they going to favor the aggression of Castaneda, maybe not landing the best shots or not consistently landing the best shots, and takedowns maybe with not much damage done? Or are they going to favor the cleaner strikes and the damage to the calves from Chris Guttierez? This is going to be one of those fights. Start the night off, very close. Some people probably not going to like this decision. Some people probably going to like it. It's going to be one of those 50-50 fights. 50-50 opinions. Like, did I like this fight or did I not like this fight? Or did I not like the judging on this one? But yeah, I'm going with Chris Guttierez. I feel like the judge is going to lean him. Very, very, very close fight. Both guys having their success. Both guys fighting to their strengths. And both guys having success at their strengths. And both guys, kind of battling to, to get going in the fight. But I think Guttierez is going to be more consistent. Another thing, like, Guttierez does have while I was originally probably leaning Castaneda here, Guttierez does seem to have questionable takedown defense. A little bit questionable. I think his takedown defense ratio is still like 74%. And he does, again, probably give up some round, or maybe not rounds. He might give a round where he gives up like 3 minutes of control time. But other than that, in most fights, it's like, that's all it is. I haven't really seen a fight when I look at his stats where he's giving up round after round after round of control time. It'd be like one round with 3 minutes of control time. Another round would be like 30, 20, 15, maybe under 40. So really, even with him having such bad takedown defense and such bad ability to get back to his feet, yeah, it'll be that round where he'll give up a lot of control time. But again, it's not really consistent over 3 rounds. Like, he getting a takedown every single round and can't get up. And it's not like Castaneda is the most aggressive wrestler there is, or the best wrestler, or the best controller, or the best ground and pounder, or the best submission guy. He's more of a just aggressor. Like, he's not a good take you down, control you type of guy. He wants to hurt you. So, yeah, and I feel like that could be a factor too. Castaneda does have that ability, but I think Castaneda himself prefers to try to strike and bang himself. So he does have the wrestling, but it's not like he's the greatest wrestler. He's not bad. He's okay. He's aggressive. That's good for him. But, yeah, I got to go Guttierez here. Close decision, but Guttierez doing a good job of maybe, holding Castaneda's wrestling to, like, success to maybe a round. And then other rounds, pretty close striking battles, but Guttierez being the much cleaner striker, much more efficient, and doing the more dynamic strikes. And probably that calf damage building up, and Castaneda probably limping and switching stances probably mid to late second round. And Guttierez, being able to prevail in a very close fight. So, in this one, I got Chris Guttierez via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Diaz versus D.Santos. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going, I'll go low confidence D.Santos to beat Diaz. Diaz, he's, it's always gonna be these guys that they some reason can't make the cut. Like, you're gonna see guys that look so goofy and they winning. You're gonna see guys that look like good talents, but they just can't seem to cut it. Like a Vince Morales, Diaz, etc., etc. But yeah, I think Diaz is kind of in that department. He has a good frame, especially for light heavyweight. I don't know about cutting down to middleweight, because he already had no chin at light heavyweight. Now he's cutting down, 20 pounds from 205 to 185. So you don't have a chin 20 pounds up. Now you're cutting down 20 more pounds. I don't think his chin's going to help his chin any. I'm not saying that D.Santos is the biggest hitter himself, but it hasn't really seemed that you need to have such a big punch to really hurt Diaz, in my opinion. I don't feel like he has, only big punchers have knocked him out. But yeah, he's pretty much 0-2 underneath the UFC banner. Both times got knocked out. I think both times were like in the first round. I definitely think the Santos might be a little bit stepped down in competition. But, not from him, but at least the people that have been beat him, because whatever. I'm all over the place. But basically, I think Diaz Chin's gonna be suspect. The smart way to probably play this one is probably just to play the KO prop, because I think one of them's gonna get knocked out. Most likely gonna be Diaz, but in the case that Diaz decided to just turn into Superman out of nowhere, the most likely way he's gonna win is by knockout. But I see second round knockout for D.Santos. I feel like he has good skills. I don't think D.Santos did some sloppy scrub. I think he had showed pretty good takedown defense, and also that's another thing to take back from his last performance. He came in as the dog in his last performance. He showed clean strike and showed good takedown defense. Showed improvement, showed growth in a fight that he was the dog in. So D.Santos clearly shows he's a guy that's still improving, and he shows that he's a guy that can rise to the occasion. So he coming in is the favorite, and I think he will have improved from his contender. Also, when you look at his contender series fight versus his other fights prior to contender series, he was much more chunky. So he got in better shape, improved his skills, sharpened up, and I think he'll be even better here. And I think he has cleaner skills. He's more durable, and I think he'll be able to set his shots up. And I think once he starts to find his range and start to connect on Diaz, I think Diaz Chin is just not going to be there. And I see a second round TKO. Probably good filling out first round. Diaz might have some life in the first round a little bit, but then by the late first round, the fight starts to just really shift against Diaz, especially in the second round. I start to see D.Santos crack him, stalk him, and put him away early, mid, second round TKO for D.Santos. So in this one, I have D.Santos via second round TKO. All right. Next fight we have in the featherweight division, we got M.Santos versus Francis Marshall. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence. M.Santos to beat Francis Marshall. And Francis Marshall is a solid talent, I guess, but I just think M.Santos his talent is just so much higher. I think he's the better striker, better submission grappler. Marshall probably the only thing he has over him is probably wrestling, but I don't think that's that great an issue for M.Santos. And I'm really looking towards like maybe a second round club and sub, or just a second round TKO for M.Santos. I think Francis Marshall's going to probably get off to a good little start. Not to say that he even gets out to a lead, but I think it's going to be a feeling process. M.Santos isn't a guy that just goes out there just swinging for the fences. He's got to fill himself out. So yeah, it's going to be a filling out process. Marshall is not like just a talentless, non-technical scrub. He has okay striking. He's an okay, well-rounded fighter. So he's not a guy you could just walk down typically, especially for a guy like M.Santos who's not just a big heavy hitter who's just going to throw caution to the wind and just walk him down and with no regard and just knock him out. So it's going to be a filling out process. Marshall's going to be trying to play the ranges a little bit, play the levels a little bit, probably try to fake a little overhands and bait the takedown. And M.Santos got to, get a feel for him. But once he gets a feel for him, I think he'll start to pick apart Francis Marshall. And I see him TKO in Francis Marshall early second round. Probably under a minute 50 into the second round, he stops Marshall via TKO. So in this one, I have M.Santos via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, we got Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Carlos Leal to beat Alex Morono. And this is probably a fight where you could go average, you could go high, but one thing about Morono, he is a very annoying fighter. I would much rather him just not be in the UFC. I would much rather somebody just go on a 5-fight knockout streak, or him go on a 5-fight streak where he gets knocked out in every single fight and they just cut him for good and never bring him back. Because he can be an annoying fighter. Like, when you want him to win, he doesn't win. When you want him to lose, he doesn't lose. Well, he did lose his last fight, which is good. The prior fight, I want him to win against Nico Price, but he lost. But he is a very inconsistent fighter, And he's awkward. He's inconsistent. He's awkward. And that awkwardness can lead him to win some fights. Because he's awkward and he knows what he's doing. Like, he's controlled awkward to an extent. And that type of style, a lot of movement, a lot of volume, a lot of, this awkwardness. And Leal might take a while to get a feel for him. And also not getting a feel for him, it might lead to the rounds and the minutes draining off the clock and Morono landing more volume. And then we might get a place where Morono wins the ugly split decision that he probably should not have no business winning, but it could end up in that same scenario. That's my concern. I'm going Carlos Leal, and I am going for him to win by knockout, but the fact that this is Morono, and the fact that they already shafted Leal in his last fight, if they already shafted you one time, what is it for them to shaft you one more time? And the UFC is always looking to shaft fighters from different organizations. Like, PFL is nowhere near our level. So to show that PFL is nowhere near our level, this guy was a top PFL fighter, and he lost his first fight. And he lost the next fight. He went 0-2 and they cut him or some dumb thing like that. So UFC's always looking to shaft PFL fighters anyway. So I could see some BS like that happening. But BS aside, I think Carlos Leal is the much better fighter, much sharper striker. Good takedown defense. Should be able to shut down Morono's takedowns, who don't even have good wrestling at all. Pretty weak built dude too. So Morono's not a strong dude. Don't have great wrestling technique. So I think Leal should be able to shut down the grappling. And it's not even like Morono really grapples too much. The most thing is that Morono is, I guess, good at being awkward on the feet. So it might take some time to, get a beat on him to set up his strike to really put Morono out. But I'll say early second round TKO for Carlos Leal. So I'm going for a lot of second round TKOs right now. But yeah, second round TKO for Carlos Leal. It's going to take a little minute to get a beat on Morono's weird style. But I think he starts to get a beat on probably mid to late first round and starts to hurt Morono. Carries that into the second round and then stops him early, probably like in the first minute of the second round. So in this one, I got Carlos Leal via second round TKO. Now to our next fight. We have in the middleweight division, we got Bruno Ferreira versus Armen Petrosyan. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Bruno Ferreira to beat Armen Petrosyan. And initially, I was going to go Armen Petrosyan, but I'm going to play the game a little bit. Here. But I'm going Bruno Ferreira, low confidence to beat Armen Petrosyan. I feel like the MMA guys want to make a joke here, so I go with Bruno Ferreira here. Petrosyan is the much longer guy, the much better striker, the guy that's much better suited to go 15 minutes. Bruno Ferreira is like a one round or bust guy, That's a risky position, but for some reason they probably going to find a way to give it to him, whether it be Ferreira getting a knockout or them giving Ferreira a goofy decision. I feel like that's what's going to happen. And also when you look at the recency of both guys, yes, they're both coming off losses. Ferreira, following his same theme, like he's pretty much a one round or bust type fighter. In his last fight, he went 2 rounds and he got submitted in the 3rd round. But he was like dangerous in like every round. He was still hurting his opponent like every round. So he was dangerous every round, but that's a good sign for him. And again, that's also what could lead me to this being a fight that Petrosyan might get shafted on the decision. Like Bruno Ferreira, again, like a one round or bust guy, but he does have power in every single round. And it's not like Petrosyan is a big finisher. I don't think he has a single finish inside the UFC. He definitely has some power, but Petrosyan, UFC level, is a decisionator. So he's relying on going to a decision. And as we saw last card, all the close fights went to the dog. Ferreira is the dog. Ferreira is the younger fighter. He's the more well-rounded fighter. So, and also, you look at the kind of like the MMA long division, MMA calculus of things. Yes, Ferreira last fight, he coming off a submission loss, but Petrosyan is not going to submit him. Whereas Petrosyan is coming off a knockout loss, and he's fighting a heavy hitter. So the MMA calculus of things and the MMA BS science of things that's going on this year, in the way that things are playing, like stat-wise this year, I got to go Ferreira in this one. I think Petrosyan is the better fighter, to be honest, but I think Ferreira is going to be, he's just going to win. Whether it be him catching with like a big shot early, and I'm going to lean to a big shot early, but I'm also covering with, I think, Ferreira probably will win if it goes to the scorecards as well, because they'll probably score the damage of Ferreira in, also like a Alonzo Menifield type fight, where Alonzo Menifield against, against Dustin Jacoby type fight, where Jacoby was really winning like 90% of that fight, but Alonzo Menifield would crack him at points, and that won him the fight. Like he'd be losing the whole round, getting picked apart, being close to finish, and then he would land a big hook, and all of a sudden Jacoby rocked and fighting for his life, and then they would gave it pretty much like Jacoby landed like 100 strikes to Menifield's like 20, but Menifield landed the big shots and hurt him more, I guess. I can see that side, but prediction-wise, I'm going to say Bruno Ferreira catches him late first round. Petrosyan probably off to a good start, looking good. Moment of mental lapse. He gets caught by something he don't see, gets rocked, and Ferreira follows it up and gets him out of there first round. So, in this one, I got Bruno Ferreira via first round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the flyweight division, we got Ray Tsuruya versus Joshua Van. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going Joshua Van, average confidence to beat Ray Tsuruya. Ray Tsuruya, both young, good talent. I think Joshua Van is like 23, Ray Tsuruya is like 22. Or they're 20, he's 23 or he's 24. They're both very young. They're both sub 25. Both amazing talents. Both have a lot of potential. I just think that Joshua Van has more potential. And obviously, he has had more experience in the UFC. I think he already has had like 5-6 UFC fights. Ray Tsuruya has only had one UFC fight, and to be honest, it was very lackluster. He went in with a guy that was not that good. He lost with the third round pretty bad. Struggled to get takedowns, struggled to hold positions, and did not look good. He looked one-dimensional and didn't even look that good in that one dimension. Now he's taking a significant step up. And Joshua Van, his issue has not really been grappling. He's been in with some good grapplers, been in with some decent wrestlers, and he's been able to stuff their takedowns, get back to his feet. So I don't see why he can't do it here with Ray Tsuruya. And then the other thing with the guys he fought, they were actually well-rounded. They were actually bigger than him. Bigger, more mature, grown men, not baby boys, like grown men with 40-plus fights. And better experience, better wins, better accomplishments. And he was fighting when he was like 20 and years old and stuff. Winning most of those fights. And I think he could definitely address the grappling of Tsuruya. Tsuruya is definitely dangerous, but I think Joshua Van is more seasoned, more upside. I think he has shown good takedown defense, good scramble ability, good ability to get back to his feet. And I think he can address the grappling of Tsuruya, stalk him, rip him to the body, bring the shots up top. And I see him... I'm going to say a third round TKO for Joshua Van. I think Tsuruya is going to be trying to crotch sniff very hard. That's going to be hard. That's going to make it hard for Van to materialize a finish. But I think he breaks him down over the first 2 rounds. And then Tsuruya just has really nothing left and just shoot him very sloppy shots. And Van's able to just step aside, let the ref step him back up, and go right back to just going to his body and stop Tsuruya in the third round. So in this one, I got Joshua Van via third round TKO. All right. Now to our next fight. We have in the heavyweight division, we got Curtis Blaydes versus Rizvan Kuniev. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Rizvan Kuniev to beat Curtis Blaydes. And low confidence this guy to beat that guy. This is definitely a phase spot for Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes should not be, Kuniev should not be plus 200 here. Especially with Curtis Blaydes just flopping as much as he has in his career. First off, Rizvan Kuniev is probably like the first guy in a long time. Matter of fact, realistically, this is the first guy you can say is a realistic takedown threat for Blaydes. Well, the second guy. Because Jelton Almeida went out there and was taking down Blaydes at will. But, this is the second guy. Because I know it was Cody East like way, way, way back when Blaydes fought Cody East. I think Cody East actually got more takedown on Blaydes than Blaydes got on Cody East. So it was very close. It either was like 3-2 Blaydes or 3-2 Cody East. But either way, Blaydes won that fight. But then recently it was like Jelton Almeida. Jelton Almeida went like 6-0 or something on takedowns against Blaydes. And Blaydes didn't get a single takedown on him. But Blaydes was able to land some fluky like uppercut or something. Or this Almeida got knocked out by Blaydes' hip. Something weird happened. But this fight, he's fighting actual heavyweight in Rizvan Kuniev. Big heavyweight, just like himself. Rizvan Kuniev is not a one-dimensional wrestler. He can strike as well. I think he's the more durable of the two. He's not a guy that just inexperienced. He fought at a pretty high level in PFL. Had some high-profile fights over there. Some high-profile wins over there. And some high-profile controversies over there as well. But, I like Kuniev here. Again, not a whole lot of confidence. But, get him at like plus 200 value. I think that's good. And, I think he could semi-match Blaydes with the wrestling. And also he could apply the forward pressure on Blaydes. And it also doesn't help that Blaydes is coming off a knockout loss. It also doesn't help that Blaydes really should be like 0-3 in his last 3 fights. Like he got knocked out by Pavlovich. And in between it, he got a lucky win over Jelton Almeida. Then after that, he got knocked out by Tom Aspinall. So in his last 3 fights, he got knocked out twice. So of his last 3 fights, 2 or 3 of them, he got knocked out. And I'm going to say it's going to be a very close decision. Both guys getting takedowns. Both guys battling for position. Blaydes probably gets off to a better start, but Blaydes is not typically the best finisher. I feel like he's a strong starter, but I feel like he kind of stalls out. And also another thing, Blaydes' takedown defense I think is like 45%. So as good as his offensive wrestling is, his takedown defense has not matched his offensive wrestling. And I think Kuniev is going to be able to pressure him. Very close fight. Both guys trading takedowns. But I just think Kuniev is going to be able to dig deeper. And also I think Kuniev is going to wear the shots Blaydes is landing on him better than Blaydes is going to be able to wear the shots that Kuniev is landing on. I don't think Blaydes takes the shot very well. There was a little moment in time when he was coming up where he took shots okay. But lately, over the past several years, when you really connect on Blaydes, he just does not take it well at all. Going with the slightly younger fighter Kuniev here to be able to push the pace better, outgrind Blaydes, and do just a little more. A slimmer margin. And I think he wins the fight probably by a split decision here. So in this one, I got Rizvan Kuniev via decision. All right. Next fight we have in the lightweight division, we got King Green, Bobby Green, or whatever he wants to call himself. I guess we're going to say King Green. He wants to be King Green, he's King Green. King Green versus Mauricio Ruffy. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going high confidence Mauricio Ruffy to beat King Green. So King Green, or Green, does not have a whole lot going for himself right now. Not to say that he's a bad fighter, but in this fight he's pushing 40. The smaller man, I guess the only thing he has on him is he has speed on him. Does he even have speed? No. He don't have height. He don't have length. He don't have youth. He don't have momentum. And I'm actually looking at a club and sub for Mauricio Ruffy here. So high confidence Mauricio Ruffy to win. And I'm definitely looking at like a club and sub. And I'm going to say first round club and sub for Mauricio Ruffy. I think Green is still very slick. He's still a very skilled fighter. You can't really sleep on him. I'm not going lock. But I'm going just about lock, high confidence. I ain't completely sleeping on Green. I got to give him respect. He's a dangerous fighter. He definitely has life in this one. But yeah, I got Ruffy to get it done. He's big, he's long, he's technical, and you can't so much try to discount him for the Lon Top fight because Lon Top is a very durable fighter. And Green has been rocked or dropped in pretty much most of his recent fights. Dropped and knocked out by Jalen Turner, dropped by and knocked out by Drew Dober, got rocked by 40-year-old Jim Miller or 42-year-old Jim Miller. And I think Mauricio Ruffy's gonna be able to touch that chin. Be dynamic, probably chew his legs up, probably fake a leg kick, come up top with like a spinning elbow or something, like something very unorthodox. Have Green on skates, throw a combination or flurry, get Green to slip, then jump on the choke or something and tap Green out in the first round or put him to sleep in the first round. But that's how I see it. Club and sub, first round for Mauricio Ruffy. So in this one, I have Mauricio Ruffy via first round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's strawweight division, we got Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lucindo. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going, I think an average, I'll just go low. Low confidence Amanda Lemos to beat Yasmin Lucindo. And this is by far my favorite dog on the card. I don't know if she's going to be the dog by the time of the fight, but she's a dog right now. And she has no business being the dog. But yeah, Amanda Lemos, low confidence, beat Yasmin Lucindo. And I can see people say, oh, Lemos is old and Lucindo is young. But Lucindo's like 24. She's not even 25 yet. And she hasn't had that statement win yet. Her biggest win is Marina Rodriguez. And all she did was like lay on her. And Lemos has much better grappling than Lucindo or Rodriguez. Much better takedown defense. And if anything, she destroyed Rodriguez when they fought. I think, did she like club and sub her or just TKO? Either way, she dogged Rodriguez when they fought. And that was a better version of Rodriguez that Lemos fought. But yeah, I still think it's too soon for Lemos. Yes, she's young. Yes, she's talented. But her striking hasn't shown me nothing particularly special. She got pretty much dominated on the striking by Yasmin Yaragui. Against Rodriguez, she was losing the striking battle. She went to a grappling approach. I don't think she's going to be able to go to a grappling approach so easily here against Lemos. And you could try to say, oh, look at her strike this. Look at that. Her striking absorption rate got messed up because she fought Weili Zhang. And Weili Zhang be destroying everybody. She fought the literal best woman in this weight class. Probably the best woman in this weight class's history. Probably. It might be easy to say now that Weili Zhang is the best woman in this woman's weight class by far. So no real shame in that one. And she went all 5 rounds. She had a couple of deep submissions like in the 4th round too. So she went in there with the best woman. She had some bad rounds and she still managed to still try to come close on some submissions even though she was getting whooped the whole fight or a large majority of the fight. But yeah, Lucindo is nowhere near the level of Weili Zhang. She still hasn't hit puberty yet. Lemos might be a little bit old, but she's still game. Just like what's her name? Angela Hill. Like she might be 40 or 37. She's still young enough to beat these young green up and comers. I think Lemos is definitely in position to beat a young green up and comer like Lucindo. I still think she's better in every area. I could see a stoppage, but I think Lucindo's young, tough, and talented. So I will say this will go the distance. But I think Amanda Lemos will win the striking. She'll win the grappling. She'll win the minutes. But yeah, competitive enough fight, but Lemos clearly ahead the whole time. And clearly the one landing the damaging shots and probably winning the positional battles as well. But in this one, I got Amanda Lemos via decision. And now on to our next one. We have in the lightweight division, we got Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. But yeah, look at the picture. I got Lemos winning by decision. But yeah, next one we have in the lightweight division. We got Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Jalen Turner to beat Ignacio Bahamondes. Yeah, I feel like this fight is very similar, but different So it's a two sides of the same coin kind of, or it's a something like that. This kind of reminds me of when Jalen Turner fought Dan Hooker, and it seemed like Dan Hooker was on the way out, but then he returned. He rewound the clock a bit, and now you see that Dan Hooker's on like a 3-fight winning streak. Jalen Turner, he's been written off because of a couple of performances, but when we really look at his 3 losses, how did he lose? He lost a close split decision to Dan Hooker that you could have given to him. He lost a close split decision to Gamrot that you could have given to him. Literally, Dan Hooker had a very similar performance against Gamrot, and he got denied. Literally, what's the name? What's that dude? The other Georgian dude. When Gamrot debuted, had a similar fight, he got denied. So Jalen Turner had a very similar fight against Gamrot that other people had got denied against Gamrot. It's just the judges didn't see his way. So 2 of his losses could have easily went his way. Then against Moicano, he had his moment. He slipped up, but is Ignacio Bahamondes going to grapple? Bahamondes does not have the grappling advantage. He's a largely, I would say, very one-dimensional fighter. He also not a fighter that really looks to put it on you unless you just beneath him. He also not a guy that can come from behind, from what I've seen yet. In this case, where Jalen Turner has really only lost to bigger and better competition. So is Bahamondes more well-rounded? He's not. Is Bahamondes more well-rounded? He's not. So he's not more experienced. He's not more well-rounded. And we look at pretty much, I would say literally everyone Jalen Turner has lost to has been more experienced and more well-rounded than him, or at least more experienced. Gamrot, more experienced. He was like a 2-division champion in some other league, I think KSW or something. Hooker, more experienced, been there with big fights with Poirier and Chandler and et cetera, and Felder, and it's more experienced. Hooker, Gamrot, guys that more experienced. Moicano was a top featherweight for a long time. Has been a top lightweight for some time now. So these guys that have more experience, more well-rounded. Bahamondes is a one-dimensional striker who really hasn't beaten no one yet. And he wasn't really even looking that great in his last fight. It just his opponent was sloppy and kept jumping in and he kept countering. But in this fight, they're both gonna be tall. I think Turner's the sharper striker. He's the more well-rounded fighter. If anything, this fight kind of reminds me of the Oroz Medic fight, where Medic was one-dimensional. But they feel that Medic was the better striker and this and that. And I at the time felt that. But Jalen Turner went out there, picked him apart, then subbed him. And that's what I'm going to go with. I think but most of Bahamondes' losses are by sub. So I'm looking at a club and sub second round for Jalen Turner. I think it's going to be a good phenomenal process, but I think Jalen Turner's going to get off to a better start. And I think Bahamondes is going to start to... Also, Bahamondes has been outstruck twice, like legitimately outstruck twice by little Ludovic Klein and by 40-year-old midget Modesti. Not to say that Modesti's a bad striker, but Modesti was like 40 years old, inactive, and went out there and picked him apart, bust him up, had him leaking from every single side of his face. So yeah, I'm going to say second round club and sub for Jalen Turner. Competitive scrap. And I think Jalen Turner's going to be the one that mixes up. Whether he mixes up the grappling early, or it's going to be like he's going to hurt him, then jump on like a guillotine. But either way, I see Jalen Turner getting a second round club and sub. Just a more well-rounded, more experienced fighter. And he's still young enough. Jalen Turner's not a 35-year-old, 36-year-old. He's still 28. Bahamondes is a little bit younger, but that's better for Jalen Turner. Because 28 is a great age. Bahamondes is like 26, which is not a bad age, but I think 28 to like 33, that's really like phenomenal age to be at. So Jalen Turner's in the more peak range of age and more around it, more tested, for better competition, beat better competition, lost to better competition as well. But yeah, Jalen Turner start leading the fight, breaking down Bahamondes, and getting a second round club and sub. So in this one, I got Jalen Turner via second round submission. Oh, he said Tom Nolan stepping in? Well, it is what it is. I'll predict that when it comes on here. But next fight we have in our co-main event, we have Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev II. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Rafael Fiziev to beat Justin Gaethje. So first time was wrong. Maybe this time will be right. Gaethje is coming off a fight where he took a lot of damage. He got knocked out. He has had time off. But I'll see this going to a very close decision yet again. I think Gaethje's going to be a little bit gun shy after getting knocked out as brutally as he did in his last fight. I don't think he's going to react to the shots as well as he usually does. I think he's going to be biting more on feints, and I think Fiziev is going to be to pick apart. He's going to be able to take advantage of that. So Gaethje might be flinching a little bit more when shots come. Like, he might not be able to help it. Like, when you get knocked out like that, especially at this stage in your career, it's hard to come back from. Not to say that he can't come back from it, but I think that's going to make a small difference or a small window, but it's going to make a big difference. Like, Fiziev probably going to be able to get him to react and freeze up a little bit off shots, off feints, and be able to land leg kicks, inside leg kick, outside leg kick, spinning back kicks, switch kicks, and build up the points. I still think Fiziev gonna have like a rough third round because he always kind of fades in fights. But I think it's a very similar fight to the first fight. But this time the judges just give it to Fiziev, and I think Fiziev is gonna land maybe a little bit more than he did last time, and take just a little less than he took last time. But either way, still a very close fight. Probably just 10 strikes separating them after 15 minutes. Both of them probably taking rounds, but Fiziev just being more consistent and probably getting off to a better start, and that been enough for the judges to give it to him over the 15 minutes and after 3 rounds. So in this one, I had Rafael Fiziev via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the light heavyweight division for the undisputed UFC light heavyweight championship, we have Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. So the undisputed champion, 3 defenses, Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'm going low confidence Alex Pereira to beat Magomed Ankalaev. And I'm going to believe what Ferreira said. Like, he's been preparing for Ankalaev for a long time. He's been putting in the work. And also, another thing, I don't think Ankalaev, I don't think Ankalaev is as much a wrestler as people try to make him out to be. And I don't think it's going to be as easy as they're trying to make it out to be, or as Ankalaev is trying to make it out to be. Ankalaev is primarily a striker. He's like 90%, probably like really like 98% striking. He only grapples when he's in danger. Oh, he got rocked by Santos. Let me wrestle. Oh, I got my leg chewed up by Jan Blachowicz. Let me wrestle. He's not really a guy that really aggressively wrestles. In the Krylov fight, Krylov was trying to wrestle him, and I think Krylov got a takedown or 2. Then Ankalaev responded by wrestling him back. So Ankalaev's not typically a guy that really looks to initially wrestle. And that could be a bad thing. Now, I'm hoping he does that. I'm hoping he stays on the feet too long. I didn't like the way, in the fight, because I did pick him against Blaydes, I didn't like the fact that he was standing on the feet too long and not wrestling after he was getting chewed up on the feet, or chewed up to his feet, was calf chewed up. But hopefully, in this one, I would like for him to stay on the feet too long after getting his legs chewed up and wait to try to wrestle late. And other things, but yeah, I think he's going to choose a strike too long. Not to say that he's a bad striker or that he can't strike with Pereira. He could definitely win a pure striking matchup with Pereira. Definitely. But I would favor Pereira in a striking match against pretty much everyone. Matter of fact, I would probably favor him against everyone. Whether it be heavyweight, light heavyweight, middleweight, welterweight, lightweight, I would probably favor Pereira against anyone right now in MMA in a pure striking match. So yeah, I think he's going to stay on the feet too long. Still be competitive scrap, but I think Pereira's going to be able to, invest in the bank, put money in the bank with those calf kicks. Have Ankalaev limping off just 2 of those calf kicks. And then Ankalaev's going to try to, probably throw sloppy overhands and try to set takedowns. Not to say that Ankalaev's sloppy. Once you get your legs chewed up, he's not going to be able to really balance and generate power and set up the overhand like he wants. So it's probably going to look a little sloppy, a little slappy. And Pereira's going to see it, probably dig him to the body. But again, competitive scrap. They're filling out. Ankalaev landing some clean shots. Pereira landing some clean shots. Nothing too flush on either side. But Pereira, again, building up those calf kicks and having Ankalaev maybe switch stances or his knees buckling, his ankles buckling a little bit. And Ankalaev tries to wrestle and tries to mix it up. And Pereira doing a better job of defending. Ankalaev probably hold Ankalaev to maybe two takedowns, maybe like 2 or 5 on takedowns. And then maybe Ankalaev gets a round where he does get him down. But Ankalaev has never really shown no real big ground and pound, no real good submission threat, no real good ability to transition and pass guard on the ground. Nothing too phenomenal there. So it'll probably be kind of like when Blachowicz took down Pereira, where he took him down but really doesn't do anything. And Pereira probably just options to either try to work back to his feet or just, I guess, give up the rest of the round defending and then start the next round back on the feet. But yeah, competitive close fight with Pereira, making the better investments. Ankalaev, I was looking for the quitter, looking for the finishing shots. Pereira gets finishes, but he's not a guy that necessarily just hunts finishes. If the finish is there, he just naturally hits hard. He'll hit you clean, hit you with a clean counter. If you go out, you go out. Pereira is a world champion kickboxer. Like, he has been long rounds kickboxer. His style, he's not intentionally, I'm going to put everything I got in the shot. He just hits hard. He hits you with like 20, 35% on the chin and you go to sleep. So Pereira can definitely fight with approach where, he's making those shots to the body. Where I feel like Ankalaev, he's going to be trying to prove himself. Like, I'm this good striker. And he's going to try to overcommit where Pereira going to be doing 30%. Ankalaev might be doing 50, 60 on his strikes. Still clean, technical. But he's going to be out there too much trying to prove something on the feet. And I think that's going to be his biggest downfall here. He's trying to prove something by fighting on Ramadan. He's trying to prove something that he's the better striker. He's trying to prove something like that he was ducking him. With Pereira, it's just like, I'm already that guy. I'm a 2-division champion and kickboxing and stuff. You're the one trying to come in and prove something. With Pereira, ain't got no chip on his shoulder. And he's going to make you pay for that chip on your shoulder. Chew your leg up. Chew your body up. Make you overswing. Make you overcommit. Catch you with a short, choppy hook after maybe give him a round to a takedown, but investing in all the rounds. I see a third round TKO for Pereira. I think Ankalaev's going to get Ankalaev to reach. He's going to teach him, catch him on the chin after he already shoot his leg up. Make him, he probably going to wobble a little bit with that overhand because he's going to be on shaky ankles. Going to overswing just a little bit. Get caught with a choppy check hook, face plant kind of, or stumble, circle to the cage, get pinned, teed off on, get stopped. Third round TKO for Alex Pereira. So, in this one, I got Alex Pereira via third round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights. Well, let me go back through them. Another thing, I'm not actually ending the video. I'm just saying I'm not ending the live stream. I'm ending the video, but I'm not ending the live stream. But I'm ending it like I'm ending the video. But the live stream will continue. But yeah, and I'm not editing that part out. But yeah, the full card of predictions, I'm running through it again. I got Guttierez by decision, low confidence. D.Santos by second round TKO, low confidence. M.Santos by second round TKO, average confidence. Carlos Leal via second round TKO, low confidence. Bruno Ferreira by first round TKO, low confidence. Joshua Van via third round TKO, average confidence. Rizvan Kuniev via decision, low confidence. Mauricio Ruffy via first round submission, high confidence. Amanda Lemos via decision, low confidence. Jalen Turner via second round submission, low confidence. And I'm hearing that this fight is off the card and that Bahamondes is going to fight Tom Nolan, but it is what it is. When it comes, I'll predict it, but it's not on here yet, so I'm not going to predict it, but I will predict it later on. But co-main event, I got Rafael Fiziev via decision. In main event, I got Alex Pereira via third round TKO, low confidence. And so that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC 313. Let me say it again. The full card of fights for UFC 313. Well, I'm all messing up, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, that concludes the full card predictions for UFC 313, Pereira versus Ankalaev. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.